Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we will be going over the rebuild of a 1965 Ford GT40. And make sure you stay tuned for the end for the blooper. And here's our 1965 Ford GT40. As you can see, it is similar to a two-door coupe, where it has two doors, pretty wide, and it is tiny. Really small from the looks of it. Now, just looking at it offhand, it does appear that the rear tires are a fair margin larger than the front. However, that could be due to the fact that since we got this vehicle from a junkyard, clearly, judging from the condition, it does not have a wheel well in the back as of currently. So, with that, let's go ahead and check out the specifications. Alright, so here we have the 1965 Ford GT40. We do have a mileage of 162,680 miles at a weight of 2,381 pounds. Factory tire size of 265 by 60 R15 in the front and 315 by 60 R15 in the rear. So those rear tires were actually a larger tire ratio than the front. We were right about that. And it wasn't just an optical illusion. With that, we do have the factory rim type of rim GT40, and as you can see below there, we did indeed get this from a junkyard, with the conditions of the body at 4%, frame at 22%, parts at 15%, and the interior at 5%. Now with that, we do have a V8 Ford small block 289M with a factory power rating of 335 horsepower at 5,730 RPM, the factory torque of 332 foot-pounds at 4,730 RPM. Now with that, we move to the credits for this 1965 Ford GT40, of which we have the parts value at 12,795 credits. That's 12,795 credits. Body value of 2,912 credits. Performance parts value of 0 credits. Condition bonus of 0 credits. Buy price of 12,486 credits. Sell value of 15,707 credits. For a profit, if we were to sell it now in its current condition, of 3,221 credits out of the junkyard. I would have to say that is the most credit value we have seen for any vehicle we have purchased from the junkyard yet. Okay, so here you can see we do have our 1965 Ford GT40 in the car wash. So with that, let's get started. Alright, so as you can see, we did get that vehicle cleaned. So now we're just going to go ahead and get this vehicle moved over to the lift. So you can see we do have our 1965 Ford GT40 on the lift. And with that, we're just going to get started by removing the body parts, followed by the engine bay parts that we can remove. And we'll go ahead and get this put up on a lift, get those tires removed, followed by the lower mechanical parts in the vehicle. So with that, let's get started. Alright, so as you can see, we did go ahead and get those body parts removed, as well as the parts removed from the interior engine bay. We did get the vehicle put on a lift, removed the tires, and got the mechanical parts removed from below the vehicle. So with that, we did go ahead and get started resurfacing those rotors over on the lathe behind us. And we got that engine block put on the engine stand. So at this point, we're just going to go ahead and weld the body back to OEM specifications. And then we'll go ahead and get started on the engine teardown while we're resurfacing those rotors. So with that, let's continue. Alright, so as you can see, we did go ahead and get that frame welded back to OEM specifications. We got that engine tore down. We also got those rotors resurfaced. We went ahead and repaired the mechanical parts as well as the body parts, followed by getting that engine block put back on the lift. So at this point, we're just going to go ahead and rebuild that engine. Go ahead and put it back in the frame and get that vehicle lifted up. Go ahead and put those mechanical parts back into the bottom of the vehicle, followed by the shocks and struts, and as always, the rims and tires. So with that, let's go ahead and continue. Okay, so as you can see, we did go ahead and rebuild that engine, followed by putting the engine into the frame of the vehicle. We then went ahead and lifted that vehicle frame up on a lift to get those bottom mechanical parts put back in. We went ahead and added the rims and the tires and got those shock absorbers put back in there on the front and the back, of which I will mention were both double wishbone shock absorbers, which are usually on either the front or the back. It's not often you'll see them on both unless you're working on a supercar, which I guess you could refer to the Ford GT40 as one of the predecessors of supercars, you might say, as it was designed for one particular race and one particular race in general. But with that, we'll go ahead and get started by putting those mechanical parts back onto the vehicle, and then we can go ahead and get the interior engine bay parts put in there, followed by filling up the fluids, and we'll go from there. Okay, so as you can see, we did go ahead and get those body parts re-added to the vehicle, followed by the interior engine bay parts. And we did go ahead and fill up those fluids. Now, you will notice the vehicle is multicolored due to a different set of body parts being put onto it. So, at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and take a stop over in the paint shop and get this vehicle painted. And then we'll go ahead and go from there. Okay, so as you can see, we do have the 1965 Ford GT40 in the paint shop. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm just going to go with the factory color. Does look like it's already metallic. I'm going to make a little alterations, make it shine just a little bit better. Middle part up there, so we could use that dark tint, and we'll go ahead and paint it. Alright, so as you can see, we did go ahead and finish painting that 1965 Ford GT40. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and get this vehicle moved on out front. So here you can see we do have our 1965 Ford GT40. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and get those interior parts removed and replaced as necessary. Then we'll see if we can get this vehicle started. Okay, so we did get those parts removed and re-added. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this started. Alright, so as you did see, we were able to get that engine started on the first try. Now, what you might also notice, which I just noticed as well to be honest, is this 1965 Ford GT40 actually has an abnormal amount of range for the RPM. Normally, you'll see that RPM meter going up to, I'd say, about 7 or 8, only encompassing about 6 to 7 of that at the very most with a modern engine. However, with this one, you notice it going up to 8, with 80 being within the red range of RPM and 70 being at the line of orange and red RPM. This vehicle could handle quite a vast amount of engine cycles, as you may call them. Pistons moving very, very fast, like way faster than normal. You know, because normally you're like 8,000 in this thing, like 60,000. Now, I'm not certain if that means actually 60 to 70,000, which I seriously doubt. Though it is possible, that's what I'm assuming it means. But, you know, just as I'm saying that, it seems doubtful. But, yeah, so if it does mean that, that'd be pretty high. Please let me know in the comments below if you know anything in regards to that. Now, other than that, you will see the oil pressure meter, which looks like any other oil pressure meter, as well as the temperature gauge. We have cold and hot, and the amps for the power usage. I'd imagine that's important in the racing aspect of this vehicle. As you can see, it is designed to be a racing vehicle, especially designed for one race, as I was mentioning earlier. And the other meter here, I'm having trouble seeing. So, if anybody could see that small print, please let me know in the comments below. And obviously on the other side here we have the gas, empty and full, as well as the speed over here on the right side. The mirrors are really awkward in this one. Really awkward, but I think it might be better than modern mirrors, as you can get more wide spectrum of the view behind you. So I think that's pretty good. Now you can see a number of switches on the dash here to start the vehicle, and then you have a number of switches for different lights and indicators within the dash, as well as the headlights and the rear tail lights and all that. Pretty certain there are a few switches in here I am unfamiliar with myself. If anybody is familiar with those, please comment about that below in the comments. I would be fascinated to hear about that. Now, another thing I really like about this particular model is the shifter, as it is in a strictly square look to it. So it's like that square look. I don't know, something about it I really like. But the idea of shifting the shifter in that square look, it's just appealing. But with that, you see the interior door panels, obviously designed for what it was made for. So yeah, pretty cool. I'd like to drive it in real life. And with that, let's go ahead and check out the vehicle specifications. Alright, so here we have our 1965 Ford GT40, and we do have the conditions below, with the body being at 100%, frame being at 100%, parts being at 100%, interior at 100%, and the credits for this 1965 Ford GT40, we do have the parts at 62,125 credits, with the body value at 32,625 credits, performance parts value of 0 credits, condition bonus of 28,425 credits, buy price of 12,486 credits, for a total sell value of 123,175 credits, and a profit of 110,689 credits. So we got a pretty good profit on this one. With that, we do actually already have a 1965 Ford GT40 in my parking garage, so we will actually be selling this one. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the like option on the bottom of the video. If you would like to see more of this content, please feel free to click subscribe. And make sure you stay tuned for the bloopers at the end. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day. Alright, so as you can see, we did go ahead and get that engine tore down, as well as the rotors resurfaced. Alright, so as you can see, we did go ahead and what did we do? We went ahead and added the rims and the tire And the tolerance, you added the tolerance. You notice it going up to 8, with 8 being the red range, with 8 being the red word. Well, but how do you say the word range? With 8 being the, wow. Words are hard today. Really awkward, but I think it might be better than modern mirrors. And make sure you stay tuned for the bloopers at the end. And all what, baby.